Hey everybody, this is the superstar Bill Martel, and right now you're listening to the FTW podcast.
Harrison and Rob, Kevin and Joe, talking about the wrestlers that you know. FTW podcast, FTW podcast, FTW podcast.
Bill's totally being a scab. You guys are union. It's Kevin's thing to show up late. Bill shows up late. Rob always runs along. Bill's running along. And Bill made a weird, obscure wrestling reference, which is totally Joe's thing. So if he gives himself a name, we can just give up the podcast and let it be his show.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, we just lost Joe. He's leaving the show, man. That was huge.
If you guys want to look up the exact magazine, it's got Bret Hart with Owen Hart and the Sharpshooter from SummerSlam '94 on the cover. Go ahead and look it up.
All right, everybody, welcome to the FTW podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. I am Harrison, and with me, as always, is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello.
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hey.
Kevin. Say hello, Kevin.
Sup?
And live via a telephone, the superstar Bill Martel. Say hello.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
All right, we are pumped to have you on. Normally the show, we're just all like drunk and going through the motions, but we heard you were going to be on there. We were all like, we better bring our A game. Even Joe is sporting a real pro wrestling shirt.
That's awesome. Which one is it?
It's yours. He's just such a big fan of you that he's wearing your shirt.
He made his own Serious Pro shirt. Okay, I got it. That's good. Send me about $10 for the merchandising on that, man.
Shit.
Oh, man!
I just got sued.
Harrison, there's another shirt for you to make.
Oh, God. All right. Add that to the list. All right. Okay, well, let's. Speaking of headaches for me, why don't we start off with Impact? Rob?
This Impact Wrestling was for the show right before pay-per-view was not very good. There was a lot on the show that I thought they could have done better. It just seemed to me like they were really struggling to get their momentum and to get any kind of a real solid storyline going. And that's really about it for my brief. I can't think of anything that really stands out one way or the other.
Well,
what'd you think of the revision of AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels?
I like it. I like where they're working it. Like I said last week or for the last few weeks, I think Christopher Daniels definitely works better as a heel than he does a face. That's always been a role that he does much, much better.
Yeah, definitely seems to be more comfortable in that role.
He's just really, really good at getting people to hate him.
I think the crowd's starting to get behind Rude. I think they're starting to really get behind him. I mean, the Cowboy chants are pretty awesome, and the match between him and Storm. And you just got to think, he's getting some pretty good heat as champion. You know, a month ago, Hogan was saying that he didn't think the audience would be ready for him.
Robert Roode is really proving Hogan wrong on that. I mean, he's really building a good heel persona for himself. He's really getting good heat. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to take like cheap heat shots too much, where he makes fun of the crowd or makes fun of the city. He can really kind of create his own persona.
Let me jump in here real quick. Can I do that?
Sure,
go for it,
man.
I completely jumped in on your feet, kind of, but didn't the Hulkster? See, I always got to defend the Hulkster, man. Didn't the Hulkster say that Bobby Roode is a much better heel, though? Didn't he say that in one of the same interviews around the time of where he was saying he's not the guy, but he was saying Bobby Roode is a much better heel? So is that maybe why he's getting over as much as he is now?
The way I understood the interview, Hogan said that Roode wasn't ready to be champion at all. He wasn't ready for like a main event, face of the company type role, period.
Right. I'm sure he said that. But, yeah, I mean, I got to play devil's advocate when the Hulkster's involved, man, you know.
Well, no, that is a really good point. Rude would not. I mean, let's face it. Rude is a much better heel. I mean, he would not be where he is right now if he stuck with a face turn.
Oh yeah,
Right.
right.
So it's almost like if he didn't. No, I mean, Bill brings up a really good point. I mean, if he was a face, he would not be where he is right now. So where do you?
But they could have turned him or Storm.
No, I think Storm works much better as a face. I think, dude, Rude's just got that swagger, I guess is the best way to put it. You know, the kind of like...
He's on WWE.
No, I mean, you know what I mean. He's got that kind of live wide, big belt buckle type of, I got a fifth of vet jack in my hand and fuck you for getting in my way type of... He does. He has that kind
Considering that TNA is based mostly in the South, James Storm is an ideal
Florida is
face.
barely the South. That's another planet.
But when they travel, they've been sticking to the South. They've been
That's
going
true.
to
Yeah.
Georgia,
South
Arkansas,
Carolina,
other
Georgia.
places.
Yeah, Memphis.
Okay,
Right.
let me add this in while we're talking about Bobby Roode and James Storm and all this. 'Cause I think this is important because I talked about this with some people I know. Like Hogan did say. I remember what you said. Hogan said, he doesn't have. Basically saying he doesn't have it, and I mean, who am I? But back probably in about 2004, I was working security at the Border City Wrestling shows that Scott D'Amore, they used to run at the Primetime Diamondback Saloon or whatever. And Bobby Roode just walking around the locker room. Now, he's nobody in 2004. But you just look at him and you're like, man, like this dude is going to be somebody. This dude is going to be somebody, that long ago, 7, 8 years ago. And so, I think hopefully he can prove Hogan wrong in that aspect, I mean, if he can make the company money, that's a great thing, whether it's heel or babyface.
So, Bill, what you're saying is you are better for the industry than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I would say that I'm better for the industry than Hulk Hogan.
I just want to make sure that we got it all. I just want to make sure we got it all out there. That's all.
Let me give you my rule. It's okay to say whatever I want as long as I say who am I beforehand.
There we go. Excellent point. Kev, you had something to say?
Yeah, real quick.
Sure.
Storm as a face works better. One reason is because of the catchphrase. Everybody loves "so sorry about your damn luck."
Oh God, yes.
Don't overlook that. The fact that he makes a better face than Rude, and I'm with you guys. I think Rude is a better heel, but that you can't overlook that because Rob, you said it many times, and you're exactly right. It's probably the best catchphrase in wrestling right now.
Counterpoint: he does have the beer bottle to smash in everybody's face.
Yeah.
True heel mark right there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, so you guys ready to move on? We can move on to Turning Point.
Yes.
Sure.
Sweet deal.
Wait, we're not going to talk about Gunner and Garrett Bischoff. Come on, I've been waiting all day.
All right.
Gunner and Garrett Bischoff, man. I mean, that's it. Like, why are we not talking about that?
All right, fine.
Because it's Gunner and Eric.
You show up late, you start making all kinds of demands. Joe said you were a diva, but I didn't think it would be this bad. Let's entertain Bill and talk about what he wants to talk about. Everybody, it's the Bill Martel podcast.
Hey, I mean, I think Gunner and Garrett Bischoff is a guaranteed comedy opportunity. So why are we not going to touch that?
No.
Because they also did Ronnie and Eric Young against Robbie E and Rob Terry.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that. Let's just move on. I'll go with your guys' previous suggestion. I'm sorry. We'll be on Impact for 2 hours.
It's happened before.
Yeah,
it has happened before.
All right. So let's all laugh at Turning Point. I just want to kick off the thing. None of us saw it coming, and I got to be honest, our Facebook page, Twitter, all lit up when this happened. Gail Kim winning the Knockouts Championship. Tiffany on our Facebook page said, basically, it seems like everybody thinks this is a mistake to differing degrees, but WWE made a worse mistake not using her to a full advantage. Do you guys agree with that?
I definitely agree that WWE made the worst mistake by not using Gail Kim to her full advantage. When the WWE first got a hold of her, Gail Kim was legitimately one of the best women wrestlers, period. And then the WWE just decided, well, we don't want women to actually wrestle. We just want you to kind of, stumble around and, oh, look, you injured yourself during a pillow fight. So they turned her into a joke, and then they shipped her back to TNA. And it seems like TNA is trying to make her legitimate again, but I think they're rushing things too much.
You guys agree with that?
I can, to an extent. You know, it's just we talked about this last week where we didn't like her work in the ring because it almost seemed like she was too used to doing the WWE
Diva
job.
Yeah.
But no, I'm liking the fact that she's getting more work, and hopefully she can push herself a little more.
My biggest problem is taking the belt off Velvet this soon. She deserved a longer reign. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin on that. Of course, I'm a huge Skymark or Velvet Skymark. I don't want to say Skymark. Anyway, I'm a huge Velvet Sky fan, and yeah, it seems like a little bit of a travesty to take it off of her this soon. All right, so
I mean, they really hurt Velvet Sky here too by taking it off so quickly. I hope they have something in mind that'll get Velvet Sky back and give her another push.
Nah, she'll just keep letting the pigeons loose.
The pigeons loose. Oh, Taz. All right. The biggest non-surprise, I think, was Rude winning against AJ. And I got to be honest, I think that's mostly down. How do you guys think that match went, given the fact that AJ was injured?
Given the fact that AJ was less than 100% going into the match, I think it went pretty well. I'm not sure I would have made it my main event.
Well, it was the title.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they kind of had to, but there were better matches in the lower end of the card. Again, for being injured, AJ Styles turned in a hell of a match.
He seemed. I got to be completely honest though, and I don't want to go there, but it seemed like he was kind of. Like, he took some extra Vicodin before he went in. You know what I mean? He seemed kind of... well, no, he was kind of blank-faced and...
While we've got somebody here, Martel, what's it like from a wrestler standpoint?
Come on! You don't have to make this a political thing, Rob. I'm just saying. He just seemed kind of spacey.
No, I'm not trying to make it a political thing. I'm trying to expand our broadcast. We have a professional wrestler. I'm curious, from his standpoint, what it's like to compete injured.
I mean, well, I'll just say first, I didn't see the pay-per-view, so I don't know, I don't know how much he was, if it showed or anything, but I'll say this, for a guy like Styles, he's been in the game forever, and, I mean, it definitely, from a worker standpoint, it definitely takes a little while to be able to work hurt and to not let the fans know that you're hurt and to not sacrifice the quality of the match. I mean, and when you're first starting, I mean, it's really hard, I mean, injuries come along with everything in the business, and, bumps and bruises and even more serious injuries where you got to work through them. Well, his was an ankle injury, right?
I want to say, it might have been...
it was ankle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think that affects everything he does, but I mean, it's definitely hard, but a guy like him, I have full faith in being able to say that he's smart enough to know how to work good enough to where, the normal person wouldn't know that he's hurt. I mean, probably all of you guys and everybody, you probably know when you read it, Styles is hurt, and you're watching for it, and you might be able to see, but the common person wouldn't be able to.
No,
Right.
Rob's right. He put in a hell of a match. I mean, just a hell of a match considering that he busted up his ankle like that. I mean, but like you were saying, Bill, the fact that we kind of knew going in he was hurt, we'd be... If he's limping a little too much. Yeah, I mean, if he's limping a little too much or, he's never going off that right foot, you're going to notice that. All right, so the one thing we talked about a lot last week when we were going through predictions was getting Austin Aries out of the X Division and into the main event title picture. He's still got the belt. Now, is this good, bad?
Short term, I think it's good. Aries is still building up the X Division. It allows Sorensen and Cash to continue on with their feud. It allows Aries to further develop his persona as like the I don't know how best to phrase it. I guess I'll call it the tricky heel. By hook or by crook, whatever he has to do is gonna, because he played Cash brilliantly during that. Long term,
The tricky heel sounds just like a rundown bar.
The tricky heel.
Dive bar.
Long term, I think they have to get it off him within like the next couple pay-per-views, and they need to start maybe pushing Aries as a potential world title contender.
Yeah, at the very least, yeah. What'd you guys think of the match? Seemed kind of not... I mean, I don't want to say meh, but for an X Division match, it was like, oh, there were a couple good points, but nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, it really fell short of what I was expecting. I don't know about you guys, but it was a real letdown for me, given what I've come to expect from X Division matches.
Especially with
they've
Austin
been
Aries.
so good lately. Yeah, it just wasn't. It wasn't up to par.
Well, I mean, the guy's been on Aries has been on a tear. He really hasn't had one misstep.
And I agree. I mean, it's tough to slam the guy, and you're exactly right, Harrison, when he's been doing such great work.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I mean, let's call it like it is. It wasn't his best match. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's tough to really hate on the guy with one bad match.
Okay. Real quick, mixed tag team championship. Immediate thoughts on that? Then I want to do the results, and then final thoughts, and we can move on. What'd you think of mixed division or mixed tag match for that match? The one on our dock, second from the top,
Yes, the World Tag Team Championship match.
with the mixed doubles.
Yeah, the mixed 6-person match.
Yeah.
So Mexican America with Sarita and Ink with Toxin.
What'd you guys? Real quick.
I think the only match worse than this was the ending to the Crimson Morgan match. I think, as predicted, Mexican America versus Ink, when you got the girls involved, dragged the match down a lot, simply because of the awkwardness that comes when one side tags out to the other. Because you've got to have men against men and women against women.
I hate that rule.
They just
Dude,
don't
it's
work.
TV. It's going to work like that. It's not a.
You can't make that happen. These matches just don't work. They need to stop.
No, I'm sorry. No, Joe, I'm with you. I mean, I don't really see a big deal. But so thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole? I gotta say, 5.5. It seemed like TNA really was building really good pay-per-views lately, and then just one's been kind of.
Yeah, TNA's really been pushing their pay-per-views. They've really been building their pay-per-views up. This one, there were a lot of matches that really kind of dragged the card down. Like I mentioned, the double DQ to the Crimson Matt Morgan. I'm sure that pissed off a lot of fans.
On a pay-per-view. This is the second time they've done that.
They're going to drag it out.
Oh,
They're just
well,
dragging it out.
I know they're going to drag it out, but
Yeah.
still, on a pay-per-view is not where you want to have like that double DQ kind of an ending.
Thank you for your $30 here.
When you've got people paying $40, $50 for the pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett, oh, God.
Jeffs!
Did he beat him
Yes, the match of the Jeffs.
The best part of this was that Jeff Jarrett got pinned 3 times in one night. The first pin coming in like 5 seconds after the match started.
Yeah, hang on,
Can
Bill. What'd
somebody
you say?
explain that to me? Because I read about it, and it's so ridiculous. Didn't after the second time he lost, he hit him in the head with a chair, and then Hardy beat him anyway?
Yes.
That's so awesome. Why? Somebody explain it to me, please.
First and foremost, I personally am not a big fan of Jeff Jarrett, so that.
Oh, you're crazy, man.
Huh?
Jeff Jarrett's awesome, man.
Sorry. My opinion, the most overrated wrestler of all time.
Oh, come on.
The match itself was... I mean, I didn't really know what to make of it. I mean, it's like, because he'd get pinned, and then, he's like, no, I want one more. And then he'd get pinned again, and then he got pinned again. So now you've got Jeff Jarrett, who's been pinned 3 times in one night, 3 times in the span of maybe like 15 or 20 minutes, I think the total match ended. So now if you plan to keep using Jeff Jarrett as a wrestler, you've just completely thrown out his credibility as a wrestler there. It was just a match that after I looked at the end of it, I just went, okay, and...
Yeah, it was weird. All right, you guys ready for predictions? See who won?
Yes.
All right, the winner with a grand total, and I have checked it 3 times, 6 wins, 6 correct answers. I am so pissed. I have to say this, Kevin.
Eat it! God,
Way to predict, Kev. Way to predict.
Don't call it a comeback.
I never left.
And the best doesn't even watch TNA. That's what pisses me off the most.
Yeah,
That's the best way to make a prediction.
it really is. I'm still in the lead with 7. Joe's in second place with 6. Number 1 loser, buddy. Kevin and Rob are tied at 5, and Garvin is still way in the back. stuck in the gates. His horse is in backwards and is infected with rabies with 1. Everybody gets lucky once, folks.
Garvin, just remind him how fantasy went. Just
Shut up. Shut up, Kevin. Shut up. Season 2, I'm going to dominate.
I'm going to take shots on top because, next pay-per-view I'll be back down bottom. So.
God damn right you will be. All right. SmackDown. Joe.
I think the highlight of SmackDown, 2 things. 1, Mark Henry versus Daniel Bryan. I'm really liking them building Daniel Bryan back up with, even though he's getting losses, he's still proving strong to Henry.
Yeah.
He's still convincing that he can win. And I'm really liking Daniel Bryan in that role. I mean, we've been saying it for a while, they need to build him back up when he's got the Money in the Bank briefcase. Dude, if you're gonna take a leak, you should just say, "Hey, I'm gonna take a leak."
Hey, that's
Really,
it, man.
Bill?
Let me add this in. I watched SmackDown on YouTube today, so I could catch up because I haven't watched SmackDown in like 10 years, honestly. But did any of you guys? I know this isn't SmackDown, and I'm breaking the format, but I feel this is important to add. Did any of you guys see William Regal versus Daniel Bryan on Superstars?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, you got to watch it. It was really good. That was linked up. That was linked up to the SmackDown that I was watching to catch up on, and it was such a good match.
See, and that's the thing. So I mean, I know William Regal's like a more of an old school style wrestler, and I have issues watching William Regal. I mean, I know he's good at what he does, but it doesn't. He drags me down.
Wrestlers.
You're such a xenophobe. Yes, I used that word on our show.
Nobody cares about Lucy Lawless. So, my moment of the night, actually, though, for SmackDown, was the end of the Hunico and Epico match with the Usos. It wasn't the actual way it ended. It was the post-match beatdown. Because you saw, I think it was Epico hits the code breaker on one of the Usos. Primo jumps him from behind and hits the backbreaker, or the backstabber. And then Hunico comes in for the Swanton. It was just a nice beatdown from the new version of the Mexicools. It was awesome.
Mexicools.
Yes! No.
I know it's a joke, Joe, but you gotta be honest, man. I mean, they are just one step away from being the Mexicools.
I mean, it's Mexican. It's a WWE flavor of Mexican America, but
it is.
I'm glad to see Primo getting some work.
Yeah, you look good too.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, I know it's the stereotypical, Latino faction starting up, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
The only thing I don't like is that they're that classic stereotype Viva la Raza type of thing. I mean, on Raw, Hunico came down with the button-down shirt with only the collar buttoned, and he's got the wife beater and the bandana around his head, and it's like, really, you're one step away from having this guy push a lawnmower down.
That's Conan, buddy.
I know, exactly. I mean, we had Conan. Conan was great.
He threw a shoe at people, so I don't know if I'd classify that as great. But.
Well, he was great at what he did.
But those are definitely my high points of the show.
Was it Tyler Rex in the match with Big Show?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
Rex in the match with Big Show. No, random Europe.
Oh, okay. Jinder Mahal. Seems like we can't get this guy a push.
Ted DiBiase got a win, though, huh?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Ted will take him any way you can get him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he made somebody very mad lately in the last couple of years, I think.
Ted or Jinder?
Ted.
Well, he did that. He did that movie for WWE Films,
right?
And then, did he have a wellness policy violation? I don't know. I mean, it's just
I don't remember. I don't think he did.
I don't know why they didn't even run with the angle he started with. Piss on you, Dad. I'm not taking your money. I'm doing my own thing.
Right.
That could have worked, but then they kept sticking Maurice with him, and that just dragged him down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sometimes I just don't get it. Like,
I think honestly, I think he's in a holding pattern until maybe after, maybe not Survivor Series, but maybe after Elimination Chamber.
Till Alberto Del Rio drops the JBL gimmick and they can pass it on to Ted, or what?
Dude, if Ted came down with the $1 million. I mean, if he came down as son of the $1 million man, tell me you wouldn't mark out.
They've already done that, and then they've had him give the belt back and say, "Piss off, Dad."
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where like they turned the corner into an interesting angle, and then they buried him with Maurice and just loss.
I don't know. I think they're looking. Well, the other thing is you can look at Cody and go, "Well, we really hit something with Cody. We just got to find something to do with Ted because if they can hit lightning, if they can catch lightning in a bottle with Ted like they did with Cody, that's a hell of a main event."
And that was the thing that surprised me initially was that I figured Ted would be the one getting the push, and
right?
Cody seemed to be lackluster, but Cody's really running with it.
Even without the mask now, yeah. All right, anything else on SmackDown before we move on to Raw?
No, not for me.
All right, cool. All right, guys, it's time to talk about the 3-hour waiting game that was the Raw.
The Raw.
I wanted to say the Rock, but I didn't think that would work too well. So, Raw. Dude, it was a 3-hour waiting game for 15 minutes. It was like the worst porno ever.
Yeah, a lot of pretty much everybody on the internet is saying it's like the worst Raw of all time. I'm not going to go that far, but it was definitely lackluster.
The first hour, especially.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Harrison. And the Cole starting out the show with Ross was like agony. Like I felt like I was in like the dentist chair with no Novocaine. And then like CM Punk tries to save the promo and not even he can do it. So there's like 15 minutes of my life that I just pissed away. A couple of things that I do want to touch on though. Dolph Ziggler needs to drop the US title and be paired up in a feud with whoever they want to main event. He is doing everything phenomenally right now, and it's about fucking time he gets pushed to the next level. His promos are incredible at this point. I mean, there's absolutely no reason not to push him to the next level. He has
#heel.
Yes.
He has it. He's ready. Put him against CM Punk. Put him against Miz, if you want to turn Miz face. I don't know. Put him against somebody major and run with it for at least 3 months. I would hope longer.
See, that's exactly my problem, Kev. WWE is lousy with good mid-card heels, but not good mid-card faces. You just pointed out, put him up against who? CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk's basically an anti-heel. I mean, he's an anti-heel. He's like a tweener, but with an attitude. Miz is still a heel. I mean, the second, like if you get R-Truth out from Awesome Truth, he's still a heel. It just seems like when you look at WWE's mid-card situation on Raw, it's all heels.
I agree with you. But you have to find something to do with this guy. He's ready. It's time. Put him up there.
Let me jump in here, and I'm going to play devil's advocate, I guess. Dolph Ziggler, I mean, he's great, and like you guys said, everything you're saying he can do. I mean, in my opinion, for whatever that counts for, I mean, I believe he's fully capable. But let's go back to two of the biggest stars in the history of the business. Let's go back to the early '90s. You got Bret Hart and you got Shawn Michaels. And now for a long time, guys are calling, "Oh, Bret Hart needs to do this. Shawn Michaels needs to do this." I think that they're doing the right thing by him. I think that you've got to have time to grow, and I think that maybe this might be an instance of where you guys. And not just you guys, but I mean, I'm saying within the context of the conversation, of course. We're looking too much into the future. Enjoy what he's got now, and by the time that he gets that call, maybe whether it be 6 months or whether it be 2 years from now, then he's definitely going to be untouchable in that aspect he's in. And maybe Dolph Ziggler has the potential to end up like a Bret Hart or a Shawn Michaels. Whereas a guy like Kofi Kingston or Shelton Benjamin, who they tried to give that push when everybody was saying, he's ready.
I miss Shelton.
But then he fell short of expectations because maybe he didn't have enough time to grow. Because usually with that main event spot, you only get one shot, man. There's so many eyes on you, and a lot of times that's all they ever care about is that main event shot. And you only get one shot at it, and if you make a wrong step or you make a wrong word, there's 50 guys behind you waiting in line. Maybe that's why he's got that time to develop. Because I mean, that time to develop. I mean, that's where it's at. I mean,
okay, Bill, how many of those guys waiting behind Ziggler are still or from the Spirit Squad?
Yeah, I forgot all about the Spirit Squads, man.
A lot of people did, man.
But I mean, that's just the way it goes, man. That's the way the business. I mean, the wrestling it's very much like throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No,
Totally.
and I see exactly where you're coming from, but I think they already did that with him. I think they tried to put a main event, he wasn't ready, they backed him off, and it was a good thing for him, because I think you make a great point, Bill, but at this point, I personally feel that he's ready. If you think he needs more time to grow, you have a lot more experience with that than I do. But from what I've seen with his
Well, I mean,
promos
I'm
and
not
his
saying
matches,
I'm not saying so much that he has to need that time to grow, but I'm just thinking from the way that whoever is in charge of this and whoever is making the shots that are being called, that's probably their train of thought. Because I'm guessing you're talking about the program he did with Edge back last year, right? About his time to kind of test him out and see if he was ready.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean he passed that with flying colors, and
And he went through a little bit of a gimmick change. They went off with a blonde. They were trying to find a few things that would work, and
Right.
it didn't. It seemed like they backed him off, put the U.S. title back on him, and it really seems to me like that's when he said, "I need to tweak a few things," and he has. And now it seems like to me he's ready to go. But
I think a big thing that's helping him, though, is the fact that he's got Vicky Guerrero behind him, and
Yes.
she's like, as we said, she's like the new Bobby the Brain.
oh, without a doubt.
a couple
So-
of things to touch on with Raw just real quick. Loved seeing Foley back, but hated the segment.
Yeah, what
I
is
love
that?
the nostalgia of the "This Is Your Life" thing, going back to when he did it with The Rock, but it just, I don't know. This time it seemed to drag. It didn't work. And yeah, we waited way too long for The Rock. And then at the end, I mean, yeah, it's the typical Rock, and yeah, it was fun, but damn, that took a long time.
How about name dropping Twitter 3 times
Yeah.
in the middle of his promo?
Oh,
And
Boots and
critics
asses.
tried-
Boots and
He
asses.
said
We
it.
just we made Twitter history. Yeah, well, no offense, Rock, but big fucking deal. I mean, it's Twitter. It's not like the Library of Congress is going to call you and let you know that they want to bronze your cock.
did Vince McMahon just figure out about Twitter?
They are totally raping everybody. Like, welcome to the Twitter show with a little bit of wrestling.
See,
Well,
here's
maybe in 6 months. Maybe in 6 months they'll be showing MySpace because he'll figure out that exists, huh? in a couple of years we'll get Facebook. So yeah, we'll be caught up to speed.
all right. You guys ready for main news?
Let's main news this bitch.
Do this.
Main news, all up in this. Time for the main news. Only item on the docket that we want to talk about is WWE's recent trend of building up things. Basically, WWE has a knack lately of really building up events and pushing storylines like Michael Cole versus Jim Ross and the re-debut of Brodus Clay. They didn't really do nothing. They really just basically did nothing for Cole and JR for weeks. It would happen on such a date, then nothing would happen for a while, and this would just be repeated. And they're doing the same thing with Brodus Clay. Brodus has been pushed like no tomorrow, and it looks like he's going to be debuting next week on Raw, but it's like, it just seems weird that they would just keep doing this like stutter step type of thing. What the hell do you think's going on? And do you think Brodus is really going to debut before the Rumble?
Well, I mean, it's what the deal is they come up with an idea, and then it's going back to like all those stories we hear that they'll do something, and then Vince will totally like take a script like 10 minutes before the show and totally change it. And when he does that, then you don't have room to debut Brodus Clay. You're like, oh fuck, what do we do? Well, we got to hold it off. And we hope our fans are stupid enough to forget about it.
Let me add this on. Maybe I know you mentioned the Royal Rumble. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think that WWE kind of runs still in cycles, and they make their money on WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series. And right now, they probably jumped the gun with the Brodus Clay thing, and it's probably like you said is Vince is he's not as hands-on as he was, but when it comes to the final call, it seems like he's always the one in charge. And if they've got plans for the guy, and we're right in this big transition period, because leading up to Survivor Series, it's all about The Rock and Cena. And now, I mean, that's it. That's it. That's all they want people to remember is Rock and Cena, Rock and Cena, Rock and Cena. So I would expect them to kind of maybe do something in between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, depending on what they have on tap for Royal Rumble. If they have something as big as Rock and Cena, they might not debut him because they won't want him to get lost in the shuffle, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, Bill, I'm with you. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that you have these gimmick kind of things for Survivor Series. Like, you have The Rock coming back. They just brought back Nash. That's taking up a lot of TV time now that they were probably looking to put towards him, and now they don't know what to do. So
Right.
I think that has a lot to do with it. But I do think they have dropped the ball on not just Brodus Clay. You know, the Raw GM is just suddenly disappeared for no reason.
Let me make a prediction. I'm going to go back. Santino's been getting. I mean, I know he was hurt with the. I think he had a car accident or whatever, and I'm going to personally. This has nothing to do with anything, but Santino's probably my favorite character on TV. But Santino's been getting a lot of airtime. I'd expect that they'll probably build him up a couple more weeks, and then he'll be maybe the first guy that Brodus Clay goes through. Because otherwise, that might be an issue too. Is to go back to what we were talking about. Who do they have that they can that's expendable to go against Brodus Clay to make him look good enough for people to care about him and be like, wow, this guy's a big deal. Who do they
John
have?
Morrison?
Yes, that's a good one. That's possible, actually. That may be why they're kind of breaking him out of this. They broke him out of the losing streak funk last week, was it, right?
Right. And he's got a new T-shirt.
Yep.
So we know he's sticking around.
I'm gonna change my pick. I'm gonna go with either John Morrison or Santino. I'm gonna piggyback off you there.
My thing about Brodus Clay is that the guy, despite the fact he looks like a boxer from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, he really...
I think he looks like a boss from Super Mario Brothers.
See, I thought he looked like Gutsman from the first Mega Man.
I think Gutsman looked like. Hang on a second.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Holy
I mean,
crap! Yeah, dude, he totally looks like Gutsman.
So get this.
yes,
Yes.
sweet,
Seriously.
old school Nintendo baby, 8-bit.
As a kid.
I think it's that massive jaw that he's got.
It is. It is. It's totally the shape of his bulbous head.
Yeah,
Are we
it really is.
supposed to forget that he was Edge's lackey for like 3 months?
Yeah, that's,
Oh no, he's Del Rio's.
yeah, that's the thing. It was Del
Okay,
Rio's.
yeah. You're right. I'm sorry,
That-
but
that's-
Right,
the
that's-
lines intertwine, obviously. But yeah,
Yeah.
Del Rio.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is I'm looking at him and I think this guy, he was Del Rio's lackey. I mean, it was like why should I give a shit about this guy? I mean, he won. Okay, look, you can't go on the fact that he's a big guy when you have Mark Henry holding the title and Big Show in a match that literally destroys the ring.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you guys this question: with Brodus Clay, are we going to see him pushed as a heel or as a face? Because I mean, you've got some options. I mean, he could go against Mark Henry. He could play that powerhouse. He could go against JBL. The first person he could tear through could be Ricardo Rodriguez for taking his job as Del Rio's lackey. I mean, there's some possibilities.
That would be logical, but I'm gonna completely step into Vince McMahon's shoes here, and I'm sure all you guys know where I'm coming from. But Vince McMahon probably takes one look at this guy and goes, "Well, that guy right there, he can't ever be a good guy.
Yeah,
He's ugly as sin."
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is right there. He's gonna be that's it. He's gonna be a heel.
The Bill's got it, man. You are never going to see him on the front of WWE, Xbox, or PlayStation games.
Yeah, I think that's right on the mark from Bill there.
Yeah.
But on that same note, you're then calling Mick Foley a very attractive person.
Oh, Mick Foley's very hot, man. Who wouldn't want to play with Mick Foley?
He is a bit of a bear. All right, you guys ready to move on?
Yes. We've driven this one into the ground.
Quiggets.
You know it's a good show when we talk about how sexy Mick Foley is.
Yeah, that's it.
That's gold right there. All right, it's time for quick hits. For those of you guys new to the show, each one of us is going to get 30 seconds to sound off on a news topic, and if there's time afterwards, we'll scream at each other for a little bit. First item on the docket, Drew McIntyre recently spoke with The Daily Record in the UK. Drew shared his thoughts on Vince McMahon endorsing him when he first debuted. Basically, he was saying it was awesome, Vince, it was great. I mean, I really want to have a good future, etc. like that. But, I mean, really, when you look at Drew McIntyre, do you think he's going to be main event in 2 years? Joe?
I don't know. I mean, he's got the potential. He's good in the ring. It's just maybe part of the drama with the wife and all that crap. I don't know. Something's happened with Drew that he's just not on top of it now. And I would like to see him get back on the ball.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, I'm with Joe. It's not. there's no way that this has any chance of him being there. I mean, the guy has the talent. Just I don't know if it's the wrong angle, if he was used incorrectly, if it was the Vince lines that hyped him up too much. It's bad. It hasn't worked, and there's no way he has a chance to be main event anytime soon. The guy has talent, though, so figure something out with him.
Okay. Rob.
Yeah, I mean, as I look over what Drew said here, I think there's some truth to that. I mean, I could see where it puts more pressure on your shoulders because it's like, you've got Vince McMahon saying, I think this guy's going to be the guy. So you've got a lot of pressure to live up to that and whatnot. Bottom line, though, I think it's going to be at least 2 years, if not longer, before Drew McIntyre's in the main event, simply because WWE doesn't know what to do with him.
Bill?
All right, I'm going to make a bold prediction here because I see a comparison. You guys remember back, I think it was 06, maybe 07, but when Vince McMahon dubbed Elijah Burke the leader of the New Breed and kind of gave him the same kind of christening as he gave Drew McIntyre. And now Drew McIntyre got that thing, and I think it goes back to what I said before: is like if Vince McMahon's going to come out on TV and he's gonna make a Mr. McMahon appearance and he's gonna put you over, you've got one chance. And if you blow that, and whether or not anybody else thinks you blew it, but if Vince McMahon thinks you blew it, that's it. You blew your chance. And same with Elijah Burke, who's he's more than capable. I mean, he's great, and so is Drew McIntyre. But I think it's that same kind of thing. I think within 2 years, I think Drew McIntyre will be gone. I don't think he'll ever get his chance.
Right.
Bold prediction, but I don't think he'll ever get his chance.
So you think he's going to be out of the WWE total in 2 years?
I think so.
Wow.
Okay,
we'll
cool.
See. I could be wrong.
That was awesome, but we try and keep to 30 seconds.
I went over. Over on time.
Just do it this way. Just figure out whatever your points could be. Just make it as short as possible. That'd be all. I mean, I'll tell you what. When I start coming in,
it's just this segment.
Yeah, it's just for just this segment. If I start coming in and going, yeah, yeah, and start doing that, then just kind of wrap up. I don't want to interrupt you and say, nope, you're done. So
you guys should have gave me a 30-second time clock and cut me off right at 30 seconds.
Okay.
My apologies.
No worries. It's fine.
Man, I go over the 30 seconds consistently. So
that's true.
That's the thing.
We love you, Rob.
But here's the problem. Bill's totally being a scab. You guys are union. It's Kevin's thing to show up late. Bill shows up late. Rob always runs along. Bill's running along. And Bill made a weird, obscure wrestling reference, which is totally Joe's thing. So if he messes up a name, we can just give up the podcast and let it be his show.
We quit.
What's weird?
No podcast. We are.
What was my weird, obscure wrestling reference? What was it?
When you said,
was it, or was it?
Shit, it was when we were talking about Brodus. I'm sorry. If you really want to listen to the show tomorrow, and I'll email it to you. It was really obscure, though. It was so obscure I don't even remember it. Yeah, I think the problem with Drew is that once Vince came out and endorsed him, he kind of put a target on his back. And then now everybody that has Vince's ear is going to be watching this guy, and if he slips up, he's gone. And I think that's a lot of pressure to put on the dude, and I think it really pigeonholed him. I don't think it's very good for I think, the boss taking notice of you is good. I don't think the boss taking notice of you and verbally endorsing you on camera when you're completely untested is the best thing for a career. And that's what I think happened to him. All right. Moving on, continuing her campaign to return to the WWE, Chyna has posted a YouTube message to Vince McMahon using her Fleshbot award, and that is exactly what you would think it would be if you had heard that phrase. As a microphone, Chyna said to the camera, "To Vincent Kennedy McMahon, Vinnie Mac, revenge is a dish best served cold." It's completely PG, as long as you don't know what Fleshbot is or what she got the award for. She went on and she clarified her statement on Twitter, saying that, I think it'd be great if the WWE would wake up and bring me back for one more match. Do you guys really think this is the best way to get Vince McMahon's notice? Joe?
Really? The fact that she's like, I think you should bring me back. And they're like, we're not interested. Seriously, with the PG thing, Doing porn is not your way to get back into WWE.
Okay, I got a counterpoint to that, but I'll wait for my turn. Kevin.
Joe's exactly right. Would I like to see her back? Absolutely. Let me go and throw this one out there. Chyna versus Awesome Kong. Who is not buying that pay-per-view? Are you fucking kidding me?
Take my money
That's
now.
all I gotta say. Now, doing porn just shot it in the ass for her to come back. Joe is
Ah!
Hey-oh!
Yes, you like that? You like that? But Joe is exactly right. But who would not buy that pay-per-view? Literally. I would love to see one more match with Chyna. She was incredibly influential. But it's not going to happen, at least not anytime soon.
All right, Rob.
I'm with Kevin. I mean, Chyna versus Awesome Kong would be a hell of a match to see. But outside of that, I don't think there's any reason WWE will bring her back. They really have no real interest or need to bring her back. And like Joe said, doing porn isn't really the best way to get back in during the PG era.
Okay, Bill.
Okay, I'm going to be careful not to go over my 30 seconds here, but let's see. Chyna coming back to WWE. I'm going to blame this one on Zack Ryder because he got himself over on YouTube, right? And now that's everybody's method of trying to get back in. You got Gregory Iron, the independent wrestler with cerebral palsy, who, I don't want to bury the guy because I run into him every once in a while, but he's campaigning to be in the Royal Rumble, same way Chyna's going on to YouTube. I think Chyna's performance at TNA spoke volumes. She looked like a deer in the headlights, as one columnist put it, and you know what? That's what it looked like, and I don't think she's been out of the game for too long to be back in it at the top.
All right, good point. Counterpoint for the fact that porn doesn't get you anywhere in the WWE. Maxim Cover got Kelly Kelly a push.
That's not porn.
Dude,
That's true. I agree.
You're telling me 14-year-old boys aren't picking that up at the convenience store and taking it home to make its pages sticky?
So you're telling me the J.C. Penney catalog is porn? I don't think so.
That's
Dude,
what I was going to say. 14-year-old boys also watch Japanese cartoons and everything, and that's considered pornographic material.
China will get it in the back door.
God damn it, Joe.
I'm going to add in this. I tried to look up her award, where she won her award, and there were some very scary images that came up when I typed in Chyna pornographic award. I got to say, there were some very scary images, and not one of them did I see her holding her award. I saw her.
I will email you. I will email you the video because
I would like to see it. I don't want to see what I saw this evening, but I want to see her holding the award.
But
all right,
I think Bill made a great point here. I mean, there's a reason we haven't seen Chyna back in the TNA after her match with Kurt Angle.
That's it. I mean, if you can't have a good match with Kurt Angle, that's it.
All right, so WWE's website published an article on Thursday speculating about The Undertaker's whereabouts and when he'll return. The article questions of whether The Undertaker could appear at Survivor Series, or pretty much what everybody else is thinking, WrestleMania 28. The Phenom, Grand Stage, extend his retreat to 20-0, blah, 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 dead man to be in the show of shows. When do you think The Taker's returning? If he's going, I mean, he's got to return. Do you think he'll return before WrestleMania? Joe?
Before WrestleMania, I wouldn't be surprised to see him as a possibility to go against Big Mark Henry after he beats Show at Survivor Series. I think if Taker comes back at Survivor Series, it'd be pretty cool.
Okay. Kevin?
Survivor Series makes a lot of sense since he debuted at Survivor Series. This would be the 20th anniversary. I'm going to say Rumble. I think he takes a little bit more time. I could, however, but I could see the other way. But I'm going to go with Rumble. He debuts maybe in the Rumble, or maybe just as a feud with somebody to hype up WrestleMania.
Okay, Rob.
No, I don't think he's coming back. No, I don't think he's coming back at all.
Okay.
I think he's done.
All right, Bill, your thoughts on Taker's return?
All right, I'm going to say this. I don't think you're going to see Undertaker until, at the very least, this year's WrestleMania. I think that there's not enough guys and there's not enough time to build up a big feud. And I'm going to reference I believe it's the October 1994 edition of WWE Magazine, where they were speculating on where Undertaker was. I think he's back working as a security position at Graceland until this WrestleMania, and I think he's going to be back then.
Are you serious? You whipped out a WWE magazine reference that's over 15 years old.
That's it.
Are you the Rain Man of wrestling?
Hey, that's my prediction.
I'm out. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, we just lost Joe. He's leaving the show, man. That was huge.
If you guys want to look up the exact magazine, it's got Bret Hart with Owen Hart and the Sharpshooter from SummerSlam '94 on the cover. Go ahead and look it up.
Oh my God!
I just facepalmed. I'm sorry.
That just happened. I thought I had a really good point. Nothing I say now. I could verbalize a cure for cancer. Who gives a shit? You just made a 15-year-old WWE magazine reference. My opinion, Taker's going to come back at SummerSlam. I'm sorry, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. He's going to interrupt Triple H like he does. Gong, gong, gong. Walk out. He's not going to say anything. It's going to be nice symmetry for the exact reason we said, because he debuted then. And like Bill said, he's not going to be in a match before WrestleMania. Hands down, not going to happen. Survivor Series prediction. WWE Survivor Series is this weekend, and believe it or not, there are more things on the card besides Rock and Cena. For instance, did you know that there are 2 whole people also in that match? First thing we got on there, Beth Phoenix versus Eve for the Divas Championship. Please be Beth Phoenix. Anybody taking Eve?
No.
No, I'm gonna take Beth.
I'm going with Beth Phoenix.
Garvin takes Eve. Yes, we all win.
Yes, Garvin took Eve. We're good. Team Barrett versus Team Orton. Barrett, Rhodes, Swagger, Hunico, and Ziggler versus Orton, Sheamus, Mason, Kofi, and Sin Cara. Who's taking who? Orton or Barrett? Everybody's all right. Kevin's taking
Team Orton.
Joe's taking Team Orton.
I'm with Joe on Team Orton.
Rob, who you taking, Bill?
I'm going to go with Randy Orton as the sole survivor because they've been talking a lot about how he had previous success in the Survivor Series matches. So I'm going to go with Randy Orton.
Fair enough. All right. Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder for the U.S. Championship. Who's walking out with the belt, Ryder or Ziggler?
Ryder.
Ryder? Really? Ugh.
Yeah, I think he's walking out with it.
All right. Joe, Rob?
Woo, woo, woo.
I'm going with Ziggler. I don't think they're going to take the belt from Ziggler yet.
Rob's taking Ziggler.
Bill, which way are you on this one?
I'm gonna go with this. Madison Square Garden is the place where you see if somebody can truly get over or not. That's the litmus test, and I'm gonna go with Zack Ryder. They're gonna give him the U.S. title in Madison Square Garden, and they're gonna see how big a reaction he gets and see if he can make money for him in the future.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Bill, but I was thinking the same thing for Ziggler, though. Yeah, I'll go with you on that one, because you're right. Well, no, you're right, because, the Garden is WWE's backyard. I mean, that's like their home turf, so I'll take Ryder on that one. All right, Mark Henry versus Big Show, Part 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship. Who's walking out with the belt?
Henry.
Mark Henry.
Henry for Joe, Henry for Kevin, Henry for Rob, Bill?
Mark Henry, without a doubt.
Bill?
Yeah, Mark Henry.
See the reaction he got in Boston.
Huge.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Mark Henry gets a clean sweep from our crew. We saw what happened at the last pay-per-view prediction that happened, though.
And I got my match I wanted. I wanted to bring this one. I'm expecting big things for this one. That match was spectacular. I don't know. The stage is set. I'm really hoping for just.
I meant our Gail Kim prediction for TNA, but whatever.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the previous Mark Henry match.
No. Anyway.
However, Harrison, I am 100% with you. You're exactly right.
I'm expecting big things for this one. ADR, Del Rio versus CM Punk for the WWE World Championship. Who's taking who?
Punk wins the title.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin on that. Punk.
Add me in that column as well.
Joe. Yeah, I'll take that one too. Seems like a gimme. Bill, you taking ADR or Punk?
I'm going to take Alberto Del Rio for Survivor Series, but I'm going to say CM Punk takes it at Royal Rumble where there's more eyes watching specifically to see if CM Punk wins it. At Survivor Series, there's more eyes watching for Rock and Cena. CM Punk's going to get overshadowed, so he's not going to take it there, but he's going to take it at the Royal Rumble.
Good point.
You going to switch your pick, Joe?
Nope.
Okay, I'm not either because I need to stick with you in order to keep you in second place, but I think I'm absolutely with Bill on that one. But I'm sticking with Punk because I'm playing the game. Playing the game.
And it's all about the game
It's all
and
about
how
the
you
game.
play it.
And I'm playing it. And I'm going to win. I got my first place. I'm not giving that up. Miz and Truth versus these two guys. You might have heard of them. Dwayne and John. Anyway, who you guys are going to pick? Miz and Truth or these two other guys?
Miz and R-Truth.
Okay, so Everybody's taking that one?
There's no way they don't build the controversy. This is about as automatic as it gets.
I'm with Kevin on that one, man. I really think it's going to be...
lines together, Rock steals the spotlight, some bullshit like that. You know that's what's going to happen. I don't even care. They have to do it.
But
I disagree with the Rock stealing the spotlight. Here's what I think is going to happen. And, this goes against all my better judgment, but I think that the people in the decision-making positions in WWE are a lot smarter than me. I believe that WrestleMania is in Miami this year. That's where The Rock is from. And I think that they know The Rock is going to blow the roof off the place. And John Cena is going to get booed out the building no matter what. And this might be the one time after about 5 years where everybody's been begging for Cena to turn heel. I think that you might not even see an instance of where Cena turns clear heel, but it might be I'm going to throw TNA under the bus here, where you leave it up for yourself to decide whether he's the heel or a face. I think Cena is going to cost the match at Survivor Series. I think The Rock is going to take the fall from The Miz. I think The Miz is going to pin The Rock at Survivor Series. And I think that's going to set up The Rock as the babyface going into WrestleMania and Cena going in as the heel.
I hope you're right, because it would be awesome.
Especially when you look at how Raw ended with
They did
Rock
before
taking both guys out with the bottom.
The same thing they did before WrestleMania. Didn't Cena give The Rock the attitude adjustment the week before WrestleMania? So that way, when The Rock gave it to him, people didn't get as mad as much. But they're doing the same thing except reverse this time, and they know that people are going to be behind The Rock no matter what.
Well, hey, Bill,
you all make good points. I'm going to take Ms. Truth.
All right,
join us.
Clean sweep on that match. No, Bill, you're absolutely. It's like I said, a couple months ago, that if you want to make Cena turn heel, you got to find a face bigger than him to do it. And right now, Rock is the only game in town.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. All right, win and fail. Wins of the week. Joe, your win of the week. Go, Joe.
My win of the week is touching back to SmackDown. It's Hunico, Epico, and Primo's beatdown of the Usos.
The Mexicoolers.
The Mexicool, the next generation. That is just awesome. I can't wait to see where they're going to go.
Cool. All right, Kevin, your win of the week.
My win of the week is the JR dance-off.
Really? Rob, your win of the week.
My win of the week is going to be the Crimson Morgan match from Turning Point.
Anything particular about it?
It was just a hell of a match. The ending of the match notwithstanding, these two really put on a hell of a match, and it was a great show overall. These two really showed that there's a lot of potential there for them. Great match potential.
All right, cool. All right, Bill, your win of the week.
My win of the week, kind of obscure, but I'm going to go with characters that entertain me. My win of the week is going to be Diesel and Santino Marella being in the same ring at the same time. Who would have ever thought that possible a year ago?
Interesting point.
No, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, Diesel and Santino Marella. I really would, I really wish they would start calling Nash Diesel, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll always call him Diesel. That's it. He's Diesel.
That was his best gimmick. I got to be honest. Wolfpack was cool, but just what was it? Big sexy. Ugh. I didn't do much more. My win of the week is, I'm probably the only person who liked this, and that was This Is Your Life segment, but not the entire segment. I mean, the original that he did with Rock was so good, but when Cena's dad came out, Cena's reactions throughout the entire thing were so great. And Cena's dad, "You leave my son alone," and Cena's like side comments going, "Well, if they don't boo me now, if they didn't boo me before, they will now." I mean,
he's like 8 years old, his dad's gonna defend him. I love that. I agree.
Yeah, that was great. I really loved it, and dude, I mean, that's why I like Cena. And I mean, it's sad how much the IWC hates him, but the guy does have a personality to him, and it is really fun to watch him work with stuff like that. Fails of the week. Joe, your fail of the week, go.
My fail of the week is in the Michael Cole challenge, the who weighs less competition. Really? You're going to take a dig at a fat guy by doing that? Seriously? You know he's a big dude. Why are you going to... That should... There are some lines, and I understand that in professional wrestling, sometimes there are lines that there are a lot of lines that can be crossed, and it's not a big deal. But for some reason, I took that one to heart. That was low.
For some reason? Really?
Fuck you!
Hey, here's the thing, though. Cole isn't exactly a beanpole, alright? We saw that guy in his little onesie. He looked like he was going to burst out of it. He looked like meatloaf that was spilling over the pan.
No, the actual guy Meatloaf spilling out of a pan.
The actual guy meatloaf spilling out of a bathtub. Alright, Kevin, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is the JR dance-off. And Joe, you're exactly right. I am watching the JR dance-off, and I'm like, this is horrible, and I couldn't stop laughing. So I was like, is it so bad it's good? Is it bad, or is it good? I don't know. So it blew my mind. I had to make it both win fail. I'm sorry. It had to happen.
Fair enough. Rob, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is going to go to Scott Steiner. Why is this man even wrestling? And much less from wrestling, why do you let him anywhere near a microphone before a match? Listen to him on the mic at Impact or Turning Point. It doesn't really matter. It's a train wreck.
Rob, let me tell you something.
That guy's awesome.
We need to find which episode where Rob did his previous imitation of Scott Steiner, because it can never get better than that.
We should turn it into a soundboard that we can upload to our website so people can make prank phone calls with it.
Yes.
All right, Bill, your fail of the week.
My fail of the week is going to be, this one's going to come out of left field for you guys. It's going to be obscure.
From you?
Why was Hulk Hogan not on Impact? Why has he not been on Impact? Hulk Hogan stole the show at Bound for Glory by doing absolutely nothing, and he hasn't been on TV since, except for the Impact following that. So that's my fail of the week.
Yeah, that's a really good one, actually. It's a really good question. Yeah, he did kind of steal the soul in Bound for Glory. He was on the Thursday afterwards, wasn't he?
Yep, that was the only show he's been on after that.
Yeah, after that, from then on out, we haven't seen him. All right, my fail is the one that everybody's complaining about, and that's WWE pushing Twitter. The thing I don't like about WWE pushing Twitter is the WWE is turning into that English teacher that's trying way too cool, or is trying way too hard to be cool. You know, he turns Hamlet into a rap. You know, that kind of guy. And so when they're going on about Twitter, it's like it's like your English teacher in junior high just discovered Twitter and wants to talk about how awesome it is so he can connect with you. Because he saw Dangerous Minds too many times. I mean, it just drives me crazy. That it's just like, yeah, you paid those consultants a lot of money, didn't you? And now you feel like if you don't do it every 10 seconds, you're not going to get that money back. My other fail is, Bill, when you went to the bathroom, we didn't hear you wash your hands.
Oh, man, you're busting my balls here, huh?
I didn't hear a sink, buddy. I did not hear a sink. I heard a flush. Didn't hear a sink. Now, you can argue that you did it no-handed, and you have really good aim, but that's really gross, and you're in your friend's house.
Hey, you know what?
That's rude.
It's not my house, so it doesn't matter what I do.
Well, didn't you learn any manners?
Are you telling me you're sitting at somebody's house and you're probably going to end up top shelving later?
Hey, I've always got a bar of soap handy, boys. No worries
In your
there.
pocket. Okay. All right. Question of the week. Last week we asked the question of should the IWC... Well, we asked the question after Joe and Kevin got into a little tussle whether or not the IWC should move on from ECW. Honestly, it's split down the middle. Facebook, Judas Coltrane said that, yeah, there's more to wrestling than old ECW. Really good point. There is. Sean said that... Sean basically... split the difference and said that in one sense they should because it was a long time ago, but at the same time ECW did set a standard that no other federation has lived up to since. I have issues with that because it just screams rose-colored glasses to me. You know? I mean, yeah, I liked ECW as much as I did, but some parts of ECW sucked. The production values were crap. It looked like it was shot on, you know, not even a handycam, like the first webcam ever developed, and then recorded to a giant Sony laptop. Twitter was the same thing. A lot of people just splitting the difference on that. So, I don't know. I really wanted it to come down one side or the other so I could point to Joe or Kevin and say, you're wrong, but it seems like we can't. So, Joe, you're wrong.
Hey!
Okay, let me say this. Now, back in the day, probably, I'd say maybe around 2000. And, you know, and I think I fell into the category of a lot of people. I had never really watched ECW. And I was like, oh my God, ECW is so awesome because they do all this stuff. And they do all this crazy stuff, and guys get powerbombed through tables, and they get pile-driven through tables, and they get lit on fire. Like, ECW is the most awesome fed ever. But here's the problem with that, is I think that ECW's reputation lies where it lies today on a lot of people who never even really watched the original product, and people who just kind of bought into the hype.
Yeah.
Because if you watch ECW, I mean, it's completely... I mean, it's not so much completely different from the perception of it, but I feel like a lot of people never really watched it, and they just bought into the hype and maybe saw, you know, the best stuff that WWE produced, or, you know, they saw a DVD from their friend. I think that's it. But I mean, there was a lot of great wrestling in ECW, and you know, there was a lot of very attention-getting things in ECW, but you know, I was talking about this just last night. I think the reputation of ECW lies on just that, the reputation. And a lot of people never even watched one full episode of, you know, ECW on TNN, or never saw an ECW pay-per-view.
No,
and I really feel that's how it is.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Bill. It's kind of like how everybody perceives, like, the Wild West. They all think it's going to be like Clint Eastwood and gunfights, when, in fact, a lot of people died because their poop was weird.
Absolutely. As obscure of a reference to tie into that as that is, I believe that that's 100% the truth.
Yeah. Everybody lived up to the hype. Or I mean, everybody just bought into the hype. Yeah, no, it's a really good point, Bill.
I had this in here. You guys are familiar with the movie Weekend at Bernie's. While watching, you know, videos of the original ECW, you know, I watched a lot of them. I'm not trying to name drop here, but I worked with Tommy Dreamer a couple months ago, and you know, it's like, okay, let's watch what this guy does, you know. And there was a lot of New Jack on these shows and these matches, and I believe that New Jack is a real life version of Weekend at Bernie's, because he doesn't appear unless his music is playing. And it's very much like the song of Weekend at Bernie's, and New Jack, no disrespect to him, I mean, he's made a lot more money than I have, and you know, he's great at what he does. But I like to reference New Jack as a real life version of Weekend at Bernie's. I figured you guys might get a little bit of a comical insight to that, so I'm gonna throw that out there.
If we cue Natural Born Killer right now, he shows up on the podcast. That's what you're telling me.
Oh, absolutely. And he's going to destroy not only me, but all of you.
Harrison,
hang on.
Guys, we are circumventing all music this week. Natural Born Killer is the beginning. We got to see what happens.
Well, we'll draw in a circle, you know, put our feet, you know, light as a board, or light as a feather, stiff as a board, and then we'll summon New Jack from, you know, like when you say Bloody Mary 3 times into a mirror. 14-year-olds all over the country do that too. They play Natural Born Killers because they want New Jack to show up to their birthday party.
Oh, that's all you got to do. He's going to be there, and he's going to mess stuff up.
Right now, I got one. I want to know what you guys think. Which was more important to the wrestling industry as a whole, WCW or ECW? Keep in mind what ECW brought to the table and WCW brought to the table. Monday Night Wars, hardcore wrestling, that kind of thing. Take it all, you know, the whole picture on what those two companies did. Which was more important, ECW or WCW? Bill, you have waited patiently this entire show, and I really appreciate that. Feel free to plug whatever it is you want, even except if you're starting a rival podcast called the WTF Show, and you're going to be playing all of our parts.
Well, let me say first off, you know, guys, you know, I've got such a passion for this business, and you know, all I think about, you know, all the time is wrestling. And even if I don't get to watch it as much as I should, you know, I tried to do my homework for the show, and I tried to watch as much as I could, more than I usually would do. And you know, I just wanted to come on here, and I wanted to talk with some people, and I wanted to have fun, and I did that. So I'm very happy, and you know, I don't regret setting my day aside. But you know, as far as the superstar Bill Martel here, you know, today's Tuesday night. On Thursday in Massillon, Ohio, you're going to get to see me. MCW Wrestling in Ohio is putting on a little mini tour here called the MCW Mayhem Tour, and they've got a lot of guys that you'd be more inclined to see than myself here. They've got Scott Steiner and Carlito, Desmond Wolfe, better known as Nigel McGuinness, and Shark Boy. They've got them. We've got shows all throughout Ohio. We've got shows Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Massillon, Cincinnati, and Alliance, Ohio, respectively. And I'm going to be a part of all those shows. And then I just got news today. I talked to some of the higher-ups from JCW, and December 30th in the arena in Pennsylvania, better known as the ECW Arena, JCW is going to be making their debut there, live on internet pay-per-view for $5 only. It's going to be called Wake the Dead, and it's going to be, the theme of that show is going to be the current JCW superstars take on the ECW stars of the past. And personally, for that show, I'm going to be hoping that I get my rematch against Tommy Dreamer, because I wrestled Tommy Dreamer. I tangled with him back in MCW back in September. It's September to Remember, and he got the best of me. But I'm hoping to get a rematch against him. And then the very next day in Worcester, Massachusetts, we're going to have the ICP JCW combined New Year's Eve blast. And, that's going to be a great show. No matter what the reputation that JCW has is all this hardcore, and, a lot of people say it's garbage wrestling. JCW puts on some of the best wrestling that's out there today. They've got the top talents in the business. They've got Jimmy Jacobs. They've got Eugene. They've got Rhino, who's in tremendous shape. They've got all these up-and-comers. I mean, I can't say enough about it. Yeah, and the superstar Bill Martel, he's going to be there, Lord willing, at both of those shows.
Fantastic,
so,
man.
I want to shill that a little bit, but this show, like I told you guys before we went on the air, and I want to say it again on the air. This show, me being on here, wasn't just to shill what I want to shill. It was to be on here to talk with you guys and have a little bit of fun, because that's what the business is all about.
Sweet deal, yeah. We'll have to have you on after the match. You have to tell us what it's like to finally kick Dreamer in the face and stomp him into the ground.
What was that? I'm sorry. My phone broke up a little bit, but I think it had something to do with me punching Tommy Dreamer in the face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yep.
you know what we should do? I should get you. I should get a vinyl FTW podcast logo made, and when you do beat him, you can just take that thing and just slap it on his chest.
Yeah.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna go outside the barriers here a little bit, but back, let's say probably maybe not 10 years ago, but maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I always used to go down south for Easter, and my uncle used to buy me all the wrestling toys for Easter there, and he got me a Tommy Dreamer figure years back. Mm-hmm. And now, just about a week before I tangled with Tommy Dreamer there at MCW, I found out that my uncle had passed away due to some pretty bad circumstances. That's kind of personal, but some pretty bad circumstances. So I was ready and raring to go. I had that connection. It was the biggest match of my career at that point, and I had a kind of personal connection with my family there. And Tommy Dreamer was somebody who, I fell out of professional wrestling for a while. When I first got out of high school, it was like, I don't want to just be one of those guys that goes to college and does what they want to do. I want to do something that I'm gonna be able to look back 25, 50 years from now and be like, I don't regret that I didn't try this. And I'd always had a great interest in wrestling. It's in my lifeblood since I was 4 or 5 years old. But like, the politics in wrestling are so bad. I'm gonna try MMA. That didn't work out so good, and I had the opportunity to do wrestling. And one of the shows and I know I'm rambling here, but I'm going to keep going because it's all right. I went to WrestleMania 23 in Detroit, and I went to that show, and one of the only people I wanted to see there was Tommy Dreamer. Now, the main event of Shawn Michaels and John Cena is what made me watch that, and I said, you know what, I want to do this. But regardless, Tommy Dreamer is one of the people I went there to see at WrestleMania, and to be in the same ring as him 4 years later, you know, that's something that I never could have foreseen. And to go back to your original question, it felt pretty good to punch Tommy Dreamer in the face and give Tommy Dreamer, give him a good beating and show him what the superstar Bill Martel is all about. And I know that was a big rant to just get to that sound bite, but it was worth it.
No, I'm just picturing you like decking him, and then when he falls down, go, "This is like the biggest thing to me right now. You have no idea. You're my hero." And then you pick him up and give him a DDT, and you just keep, throughout the entire match, you're just beating him to a pulp and going, "You have no idea how important this is to me." This is like my favorite day ever.
It was definitely, I'll say this about the match with Tommy Dreamer, it was one of those moments, and, professional wrestling, and I'm not about to try to get too sappy here on you guys, but it's a level I'm at realistically, and it's a level that a lot of indie guys are at. You know, you live for something that you can tell your kids about. And the match with Tommy Dreamer is definitely something that I can look back at and say, it was all worth it. But, hopefully that's not going to be the top of the mountaintop for me, personally.
You got ways to go, man. Ways to go.
Well, let's hope so.
We'll look forward to seeing you headline We'll look forward to seeing you headline WrestleMania.
I hope so, guys. I'll say it again just for you guys. I rambled about myself for long enough. I really like what you guys do here, and I really appreciate you guys having me on here. It's a lot of fun, and it's great to see people with a passion for the business. It's really great. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and I appreciate you doing what you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
Well, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You got a blog, Twitter account, Facebook page you want people to hit you up at?
I just got the Facebook page. I got a Twitter, and that's the popular thing today. But I haven't logged on to Twitter since probably about 2 years ago. If you wanna get in touch with me or see what's going on with me, Facebook, just quite simply Bill Martel. That's it.
Awesome.
As always, you can hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/FTW podcast, twitter.com/FTW podcast. You can call us at 313-444-FTW4. If you want to leave a voicemail, that's 313-444-3894. Buy our iOS and Android apps because we're poor and we need the money. You can rate us on iTunes. Got some really good feedback on there. Always could look for more because we got to prove to our ex-girlfriends that we're worth a damn. And we're going to have merch coming out pretty soon, so look forward to us shilling t-shirts like there's no tomorrow.